Does your voice really matter when it comes to issues that are in the world, or votes that are happening, or policy conversations, or anything? Does your voice matter? We start asking ourselves this when we're in this giant society that is so divisive right now, where people find out that you believe something different than them and you must be burned to the ground. And we forget that quite often we have massive amounts in common, and we could choose to lean into what we have in common if we just did. And I will think about this in terms of how we look at our local communities. Realtors are really unique as a profession because each one of us is a micro entrepreneur. So whether you are owning a brokerage like myself, or you are a sales agent, you're still an independent contractor 1099, and you know certain areas of your market better than anybody. In fact, even the biggest producing realtors tend to know one, maybe two or three zip codes like the back of their hand, and they know a lot about other areas, but my goodness, right where they are, they know it so well. And yet, when it comes to issues in those areas, there's a fear of speaking up. There's a fear of retaliation on your business if you make a stance about something that's happening, or there's just this mentality of, I'm going to put my head down and work and ignore this and it'll go away. And it doesn't go away, because often that realtor voice is the most reasonable, rational, multifaceted perspective that could possibly be in the room. Now, I'm bringing this to you because a fellow realtor from Massachusetts brought me an issue that she's got going on, and I want y'all to consider this in terms of where you live and what your possible impact could be in life, because spoiler alert, all of us can have impact if we just choose to use our voices. She said, I have become so disappointed with my local realtors. All right, sister, I feel you. So tell me why you're disappointed. She said, for over a year and a half. All right, so her patience is gone, obviously. I have asked for their support to prevent Holtec, a corporate entity, from dumping over 1 million gallons of radioactive and chemical waste water into Cape Cod Bay that affects our coastal communities and beyond. This particular realtor, y'all, she is putting her money where her mouth is. This woman has testified in front of elected officials. She has shown up at meetings and at rallies. She is doing her level best as one voice to be that person of reason who is looking out for a larger population that maybe doesn't even know the situation is happening. Where her frustration comes in is in this sentence where she says, maybe 2 or 3 members of my 3,500 realtors will show up, yet they still post all their sales achievements on social media. It's a huge frustration, because for a lot of people, they choose the path of least resistance, and the path of least resistance is being that status quo that everybody thought you were as a mediocre realtor who sold a house. Yay, yay me. But that person like Christine right here, who has chosen to be the voice for the unheard in the room, because here's the secret. She's actually the voice for the realtors who aren't showing up. She's trying to help them preserve the environment and the home ownership where she lives, and the housing and the groundwater and all of the things that impact quality of life, which should be one of the most important things that realtors fight for, is quality of life in the communities where we live. Where are the other members? I can tell you that many of them have probably been on social media typing like this, because we have all had a moment in our lives and we have become keyboard warriors in today's world. But what good does that do when there is an active threat to the environment and to the real estate community and the community at large right where you live? I'm with Christine on this. I really don't know what the answer is to helping people take a stance, but I will tell you that it starts with understanding what the battle is. So if you are a local real estate professional, whether it's in the Cape Cod area or right here in Concord where Leigh is, or you're somewhere else, maybe look at the Central Valley of California, which is experiencing some huge issues with flooding and with water issues, you start by talking to the person who's got knowledge of the information. Well, knowledge of the situation. The person who's got the knowledge is going to start with the government affairs director at your local realtor body. That's the person who probably has all of the data and all the viewpoints and actually knows where all the votes are when it comes to something like this. So talk to your local government affairs director. Then you talk to the member who is at these meetings. There is a Christine, I think, in every single market, and I respect so much the realtors that are willing to put their businesses on the line and possibly aggravate a corporate entity by going to the meeting and saying, I speak for the unheard. When you find that Christine, you may ask her, what is going on? Please share some information with me. Tell me where I can do my own research, because I do think many people just don't know where to go to get the information because our information sources are so biased nowadays. Then I want you to ask that Christine. You know she's going to meet with legislators. She's going to town meetings. She's going to rallies. Ask her how much time she's investing. Something tells me she's investing a lot of time in this issue because it matters to her heart how other people's experience is with home ownership. It matters to her heart how her community comes out of this scenario, and she is sacrificing sales and commission dollars to do that. That is a hero, no matter how you shake it. So maybe you want to find out from her what time is involved in being a hero. I want to stand beside you, because one of the things you should know is that when something's going on around you, you don't have to stand by yourself. If y'all have never seen that video of the one man dancing, he's at a rave or a dance party or some such outdoors, and he starts dancing by himself and everybody's looking at him like he's lost his mind, and then suddenly a second person joins in, and it doesn't take long before the whole group of people is dancing. It just starts with somebody. And so you can go be the person who stands beside. Maybe you are the number two, and that's a very important part. In fact, it's even biblical when you look at the Apostle Paul, and he needed Timothy. He needed somebody to stand by him. Maybe you're the person that goes to stand beside Christine and figure out how you can be a part of it. And then you tell another friend, and then you use your social platform, use your voice to go bring other people into the conversation who actually may have that same heart and passion, but they did not know the issue was going on. So you can be the person who educates as much as you can be the person who advocates. Now I want you to think about what it looks like next. Going to these meetings may take 3 hours out of your life. 3 hours, y'all. I mean, come on. Why do we act like that is the end of the world to go to a school board meeting, a town council meeting, a county commission meeting? In fact, thanks to technology and the COVID era and the Zoom world, many of those meetings are available live streamed on the website for your government body, or they're on YouTube, they're on Facebook. You can go watch it from the comfort of your home, although I'm just going to tell you, you should use that as an information gathering session. Your power doesn't come until you show up. The power of you is in your presence. And when your presence shows up and it has the brain turned on and you have your heart turned on and you have your facts in your hand, you become a force with which to be reckoned. And I think that is exactly what we all need to be doing. Now, here's the craziest part of all this. Christine says she's got 2 or 3 members showing up out of 3,500 to fight a multinational corporation that's putting millions of gallons of radioactive waste into the water. And so before you say, where's everybody else? I want you to say, where am I? Because if we took that 2 or 3 members and it became 10 members, you know what would happen? You would find that you far outnumber all the other voices at that meeting, because sadly, most of us would rather stand in line for the latest iteration of an iPhone than we would to go to a municipal meeting where decisions are being made that change our communities forever. But if 10 of you are in a room together, if there are just 10 realtors standing there, and you have Christine at the front to be the voice because you didn't want to talk, that's fine, but you stand with her, then what's going to happen is your elected officials are going to hear what's happening, because they're going to see the group of you, and suddenly they're going to realize that all of us are standing behind you and this one voice together. There are big changes needed, y'all. There are big, nasty forces at work in the world. One person shouldn't have to fight by themselves. You could be that person who comes in alongside and realizes that when we decide to work together for the betterment of whatever it is, the organization, the community, a group of homeowners, we can affect change, and we can affect good change. And this is the kind of change, the kind of situation she's talking about here is a generational challenge. Because if we do not take care of radioactive waste right now, you're impacting the schools of fish, you are impacting the flocks of birds, you are impacting the fishermen who make a living off of selling that, and you impact the food supply, and then you impact the groundwater, and you impact so many things, and it all starts with the action that has to happen right now. So I want you to ask yourself this before you log into social media and start to make a comment on somebody else's post. I want you to ask yourself, what action am I willing to take, and how important is this to me? Because this has to be important. We have to decide that talking about local issues is more important than talking about the sign we put in a yard, and more important than talking about our sales traction. Those are important. Economically, I get it. You need to make a living. You got to take care of your family. And frankly, every real estate transaction has a giant economic output on the community. But we got to think about the health of our communities as a holistic thing. That real estate's not a standalone over here, but instead real estate is a stand alongside. So Christine, I'm going to thank you right now for being that voice in the Cape Cod area that is working to protect your community. And I'm going to challenge all of my Massachusetts realtors to find out what's going on and how you can be a part of this. And wherever you are, I want you to reach out to somebody who knows more than you do. I want you to learn something, and then I really want you to take action alongside somebody else, because I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to operate in a world where I don't have a voice. I love doing the research, and I love standing up on behalf of somebody else, because that's the beauty of real estate. We stand up for our clients, and we help them change their lives forever through real estate, and that also means we take care of our communities at the same time. So go do something. Tell me in the comments what's going on in your area. And if you're having the same challenges and you want me to help out, I'll do what I can from Concord, because I know one thing about real estate. We are definitely in this together.